All right, ladies and gentlemen, next we have our keynote speaker on finances, and I'm talking about Charles Avis, right? And he is, sorry about that, founder of First Pay Technologies. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause.
Please put your hands together for Charles Avis, please. Thank you very much. You can do better than that. Come on.
Hello. Hello. Please put a round of applause for yourself. Whatsoever you don't celebrate will depreciate. We live in a world of polarity. Please clap for yourself. The reason being that there is other substitution to what you should be doing that is not here, but you have decided to be here. And that's a good decision. And another round of applause for Andy Umana. You know, there's a saying that in life, you can either be close to poverty or to wealth. And the result will always show in your bank account. Which are you? All right, so today I have a lot of things to say. In 2008, let me just give you a brief background. I've been an entrepreneur for like 23 years, right? And I can boldly say I am deflectively laporized. And I grew up from a very, very humble background. In 2008, I stumbled on something that really profoundly changed my life. And that, was the year that set out quite a number of things that I have come to do today. So there are 4 ways to make money, I discovered, right? And over the time, I get to learn that there's another additional way in which you can make money. So the first one, which I will be talking about, I actually did a slide. Don't worry about the slide because it's almost like a masterclass. And for the interest of time and respectfully to other, members of, guest speakers that are supposed to speak, so I would like to keep it short. So the first way you can make money is through your time, right? Through your time. So for someone with a very humble background, right? I went to the farm. Going to the farm, you wake up by 4 a.m. By the time you are getting to the farm, it's around 2 p.m. And I'm not kidding, right? That's how far it is. And when you are coming back with a whole lot of loads, right? Such that we have many stops. And you don't go to the farm same day and come back the same day, right? You go to the farm and stay in the farm for like a week or two because of that level of distance, right? And such was my experience. And then I see what and how far I've come from such a little village in Kogi State, where I had such a very, very deflective experience. I used to say deflective because life has given you 48-0. You get what I'm saying? Number one, when you are coming to this world, you chose to come to Nigeria. 10-0, right? And then they decide to born you in Kogi State. Another 20-0, right? And then in a very thick village. So I have seen an evolution of what I call nothing but pure grace, right? And today, I run FusePay. We're in 22 countries. I process millions of dollars in transactions. And not just that, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I own a food processing factory. We hold about 9 livestock licenses. Last year, we did over 1 million, donuts, and we have expanded this year. All right, and that is just a little bit about what I do. I have other, chain of business as well, right? So the first way you are going to make money is your time, okay? And if time is the question of trade here, what do you put into time? Okay, so which means, which is why I say you should clap for yourself, that the first investment you are ever going to make in your life is the quality of what comes into your mind, right? You can never be greater than what you know. what you don't know will always cheat you. I'm going to say it again. You can never be greater than what you know. And what you don't know will always cheat you. And that's why, learning is such an important element to growth. Because learning is a developmental process in which you substitute the abundance of time that you have with value, right? So you have the option to be somewhere else, either playing, PlayStation or whatever it is, or you're here and you're listening. So the first way you make money is your time. But now, there's a problem with making money with your time because you are only limited to just 24 hours. I work about 18 hours every day, by the way, right? And I've been doing that for like 20 years. But the whole thing is that what happens when you cannot work? Because the body itself is not a machine. Even machine breaks down and needs some servicing, right? If you're driving a car, you need to do some servicing over time. So you are now limited to the capacity of what you can do within the spectrum of that time interval, right? So then the second way to make money is making money with other people's time. So in 2008, I went to a conference and they said, what can you do to collect 1 naira from 1 million Nigeria? I'm talking about 2008. 1 million naira was such a huge amount of money because I have over 60 skills, which serendipitously happened, not like I intentionally did them. I've gone to work series of jobs from bricklaying, to painting, to, electrical work and all of that. And when I go out, they will pay me 350 naira for a day job, right? For you to know what 1 million naira is. And all my savings in the entire month is just 3,000 naira. All my savings in the entire month was just 3,000 naira, right? But I understood. So I'm going to say this. I know a lot of people say that, Nigeria is hard, okay? You will not make money if you find a reason to explain why you are not making money. I'm going to say that again. You will never make money if you always find a reason why you can't make money. And this is about mindset change. Because a lot of the results outside that are around us, it's already evident that there are 1 million reasons why you shouldn't make money. And that is always factual, right? But you have to do something different, right? And it is not about convenience. So yesterday I was telling someone, by the way, I lived in Port Harcourt for 9 years, and I was telling the person that, the first time I came to do some pitches, right, to my first investment, I walked from the Port Harcourt airport to Transamadi, right? I used to brag that I have PhD in psychology. I don't know, you know what I mean? So, and now, we are at different levels. Some people, have the opportunity to have a maze, while some people have to start from a very, very deflective state. But I want you to understand that God, in its own magnanimousness, is always perfect in all those doing. Because, for me, I have done consulting. I consulted for brands like NairaBet. I branded NairaBet, by the way. That's a couple of years ago. I did some consulting for StarTimes. But all of those things didn't come by mistake, right? They came because of all of the experiences that I have gone through. So which means wherever you are, right, there is something very, very important in your story that is unique, that is going to be very, 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 very essential in your journey to transformation. But why at it? Number one, you have to increase your capabilities, right? And I'm talking about gross competence. I mean, gross competence. You have to be insanely good at what you do. You have to read books that are not interesting, right? You have to, know about mathematics if what you are doing cut across that divide. You have to do things that are not palatable to do. Because according to the influence spectrum, the higher the skill you acquire, the lesser the people that we contest for the opportunity in that region. I'm going to say that again. The higher skills you acquire, the more competent you become, the lesser people will be in those regions to compete for the opportunities in that space. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So, which means the more deeper you go into subjective understanding of a particular industry, the more you are automatically outsmarting people, relatively, right? Because whether you like it or not, you are either moving forward or going bad. Because we live in a world of polarity. Either you are close to poverty or you are close to wealth. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So whether you are making decision or you are saying that I'm still planning, and that indecision itself is a decision, or someone will say your ability to say to not reject something is an automatic acceptance. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So which means after you have invested much of that into your time, you now need to think, how can you employ other people? What do you do by employing other people? It means you have the ability to what? To multiply yourself. So 24 hours that you have is now 48 hours, and then you can now do more productivity. And when you do that, you now go into different conversations around leadership, management, delegations, and all of that. Then the other ways you can make money is through investment instruments. So today is about real estate and all of those things, right? Real estate is such an investment instrument that has helped quite a number of people to do that. But there is a strategy to do it. I have seen quite a number of people do real estate. They just jump into it and think that when you have money, you just go and buy property. Okay, there's a science to how real estate multiplies, right? And I heard Cornelius was talking about co-investing. So we've seen some of strategy where people will gather themselves and be able to buy property in a strategic location where within a couple of years that can multiply in value. Okay, so that's why the quality of people you have in your life also matters. All right, so using investment instrument is the third thing. Then the fourth way to make money is building a machine. So in 2008, I set out that I was going to build a machine, and I have done quite a number of different businesses that have failed across the spectrum. But yes, I want you to know that in science, they don't call failure failure. They call it empirical data, right? But in life, we call it failure. And then we develop a taboo that failure itself is negative. Meanwhile, failure itself is a stepping stone to whatsoever is that is the expression of knowledge and wisdom you're going to have in that particular industry, right? You see people who come here and they, and they speak their mind, they speak their perspective and experience. See that experience, if they tell you what it cost them, right? At a particular point in time in my life, I lost almost about 80 million naira. And I was discussing with someone yesterday about, a kind of, hacking that we experienced, which cost almost about 25 million. I was just saying it casually, right? And I can confidently tell someone that, if you're building your infrastructure, don't do it like that, right? But see that, don't do it like that. That's my 25 million naira, right? So in life, there are things that you need to hold very, very cogently. The value, if you have the resources to pay for something, the purpose of that resources is for two things. Write it down. The purpose of that resources is for two things. Number one, so that resources can achieve the purpose that you want it to do. Then number two, so that resources can pay for the school fees of you failing at it. I'm going to say it again. If you put your money into something and you have like 100,000 naira, you want to do a business, right? And that business fails, that's a school fees. All right. And which is one of the things that a lot of people don't understand about risk management and how to embrace loss, right? People lose money and then, no, I'm not doing it again. No, I don't know if you get what I'm saying. And you don't get better by doing simulation of mathematical expression on how to solve water. You know how to solve water by being in water. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. And you don't get better if you don't fall. You fall, then you understand how the wave and the current of the water moves, right? And with time, your body in itself, in a feedback loop system, adjusts and you get yourself to a balance, okay? So loss in itself is not negative integer. It's a positive integer. So, and that is why For people who are students of science, right, they tell you experiment. And you can do like 1 million experiments. Today, thanks to Thomas Edison, we have this light. But that is about over 999 failures, right? But in science, they call it empirical data. So feedback loop system is what makes you to learn, right? The 15 on how to make money is to create systems. Today, I was supposed to talk about how do you transfer money to your generation and what are the profound ways and methodologies that you can use to actually do that, right? So you make money with your time. When you make money with your time, the key things you want to do is to do savings as much as possible. Sometimes it is not about cutting down your standard of living. It's about skilling up. When you skill up, you give yourself the opportunity to make more money. But if your environment in itself does not support to the reward of your skilling up, then you cut down, right? That is now sacrificial. And that is the strategy you need when you are on that 0 to 1. When you now have, the opportunity, if your environment is not paying you. I was in Port Harcourt for 9 years, respectfully speaking, right? And, in 2013, I was far ahead. What becomes Paystack was an idea I already had in 2013. I was talking to Globe. I was in Port Harcourt. Decisions were not made here, right? So I have to meet someone who have to, speak, and guess what? The way innovation works, the people who are the branches understand operation, not innovation, right? The people who are the headquarters are the ones who move the needle and the direction and the dimension of industry, right? And I was here for 9 years. And I missed the entire wave of the entire fintech, right? Now, my company is in 22 countries, and I moved in 2020, started in 2021, raised over $250,000 to build the entire infrastructure. And then between 4 years and now, we're in 22 countries. Location. You can never be greater than the location where you operate. The maximum amount of resources within a particular location is directly proportional to the to the amount of money that can come to your purse, right? Relevant to the degree and the relevance of your skill in that particular spectrum. So if you are in an environment where you can skill up and they compensate you, glory be to God. But if you are not in that environment, you need to shift your location, because there is nothing that is cheap and there is nothing that is expensive. It's just a matter of who is paying for it. And you now realize that the amount of money people pay right now, I have lost the subjective, context of what is cheap, right? Because before I realized that, sometimes you realize that if you drive cars, right? Maybe you're not driving before. When you get to those junctions, there are very, very cheap things you can buy. But the moment you begin to drive cars, trust me, you are forced to go to supermarket, because when you are not driving cars, bus stop, they don't just you for that place, and then you just buy what you need to buy. But if you have a car, you now realize that where you need to go and park to come back, right? You now start thinking about, your safety and all of those things, right? So which means nothing is cheap, nothing is expensive. It's a matter of who is paying for it. So when I was doing the branding of NairaBet, at a point, the highest money I've ever charged for branding was 150,000. I had a friend who was a sales expert in Lagos. He said I should charge 20 million. Guess what? I was not confident enough to do that, right? He said, go back home. Use this weekend to convince yourself that you are worth 20 million. All right. A lot of you, the reason why you are not making money is because the mindset about making money in itself is retarded. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. You cannot make what you don't think you can make. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. First, you need to shift the ceiling of your thinking. Let it be insanely ridiculous, such that even if you fail, you are landing on a very, very pedestal that is even much more than who you were before, right? And then guess what? I charged 10 million naira, right? I ended up designing a logo for about 7 million naira, and eventually got a job to do entire rebranding across the markets, over 100 million, right? Why? Because I spoke to the right person. The place you find yourself, right, will determine how much resources. The first speaker said that the reason why we are here, I'm on this page, is because we know the speaker. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So proximity is equal to assignment. You can never be assigned to what you are not close to. If you are close to poverty, that's why you don't have money. If you are close to wealth, you will always see informations. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Let's say if they can have an opportunity now and say, oh, let's assume that one of your friends just become, had a political appointment. Who do you think he's going to call? He's going to call you and say, if you come and do this, blah, blah, and all of those things. And that's it. But the question is your concept of relationship. You have to change it, right? And this is why you have to level up. Go to places where you don't have guts. You need audacity, insane audacity. In Jesus' name.